guys. Our next guest speaker is a very interesting person. She's the chair of the board and the president of Musala Soft. She's actively engaged in social projects dedicated to the promotion and development of the Bulgarian business climate, IT education, science, innovation, inspiration of young talents, and all kinds of initiatives that are related to the recognition of Bulgaria as an internationally respected IT destination. She's part and member of many organizations and foundations, but most interestingly to us and kind of related is maybe that she's part of the board of trustees of AUBG. She's also a board member of the Bulgarian Association in Information Technologies and board of EVRIKA Foundation. She's also a mentor at 11 and Launchub, and she's a mentor of in Together in Class. Well, without any further ado, I would like us to give our warmest welcome to Elena Marinova.
Thank you. So he said most about me, and maybe I don't need much further presentation. I always wonder why there are no people on the first rows of your presentations. So maybe a few words about my company. We're a software services company, have more than 300 people based in Sofia, the majority of them, but we have a small office also in Burgas, now opening a new one in Ruse and in Skopje, Macedonia. Work very internationally. So I've been around and I love doing that for work and pleasure. Some things about the IT sector. Part of which I am. It's maybe the most dynamic and growing sector in the world, and with no potential to stop being such. There is a shortage of 4.5 million IT specialists around the world, and for Europe the number is about 1 million. For Bulgaria it's tens of thousands. And we have seen zero unemployment for the last more than 10 years here in Bulgaria. High salary levels and growing. For the last year, the average salary in the sector was 3,500 level. And exciting jobs. It's a very export-oriented sector, so people work for international projects and enjoy being part of the world and citizens of the world. Now about my talk. Actually, that's all I want to tell you. Learn from your success, build on top of it, enjoy yourself, inspire yourself, and celebrate your success. Why so? Because we put a lot of stress on failure. You know, that you only learn from your mistakes, and smart people learn from their mistakes, wise people learn from the mistakes of others, and there is a lot of failure and pain on your way to success. And there is a lot of truth in that, actually. The way to success is not easy, it's quite bumpy, there are bruises and there are tears. And then we have the whole educational system made for helping you if you're lagging behind. If you have problems, then they have some special courses for you, they have somebody to work with you so that you catch up. If you're at disadvantage, you can rely on a lot of programs. If you're a gay Afro-American lonely mom, that's perfect. You get all the support from different foundations and all that stuff. And here's something about discrimination. I, as a white Bulgarian woman in the IT sector, have rarely seen discrimination towards me. Not that there were no such cases, but it was more exceptions and hilarious accidents than something that that would do any harm to my career as a whole. Maybe the only thing that I was discriminated through years more consistently was age. But no worries, it goes away with time very quickly. So it's kind of self. And on that point, because you're young, most of you are very young, Don't get it as a personal offense if it happens to you, and I'm sure it will happen. Because at the end of the day, it's normal. If you're young, you have not done much, at least not as much as you would if you were older, and you just don't have enough references. So you're perceived as less trustful, and you just have to work a bit harder so that you prove yourself. But then once you do, then people accept you and it's perfectly okay, and age does not matter, or sex or anything else. Which leads me to one more point, the thing about equal rights, and that we are all born equal and all that stuff. It's just not true. We're not born equal. I'll tell you a story that my father told me a few years ago when I was coming here, and he asked me what are I going to do in Blagoevgrad, and I said I'm going to tell some wise things, and he said then quote me, and I said okay, I'll do it. So do you know the story? Somebody wish me success with a remote control. Do you know that elephants in the circus are tied with a small rope to a stake, and they never escape? And that's happening because they were tied to the same stake with the same rope when they were baby elephants, and they were not powerful enough to escape. And when they grow older, they just don't think they can escape, so they never try. So here comes the story of my father. What he told me once is that we are all born tied to a stake, and it's somewhere in the society, in the geography, in the hierarchy in the society, in your economic status, family, whatever. And it's there, and it's a fact, and we are not equal. Because we are positioned somewhere the moment we are born. But, unlike the elephant, the rope is quite elastic. And it depends on us how much we will unwind it. And it depends on how much we believe in ourselves, and how much we develop our skills, and how much people that trust in us are around us and help us to unwind the rope. Which leads to the inspiration to succeed and to our focus to success, and how much we really love doing what we do, and how much we work on our weaknesses, or how much we do work on our strengths. And here I will give you two examples. I'm a terrible dancer, just awful. And 10 years ago, my best friend is getting married, and from what I see, most of you are Bulgarian. I wonder why I speak in English. Anybody not Bulgarian?
Yes.
Okay. And you still don't know Bulgarian? Oh, you speak Bulgarian?
No.
So I'd better speak Bulgarian so that you learn. So, I'm a terrible dancer. A wedding, and we dance at weddings a lot, like everywhere in the world. So I have to learn at least a simple choro. That's a Bulgarian national dance, and those who are not Bulgarians, you should know that already. And it's quite simple to dance for an average person, but it's very difficult for me. So my mom, who's a great dancer and a great teacher, though that's not her job, starts teaching me to dance. And that takes weeks, every weekend. And a lot of effort and energy and some tears on her behalf, because I'm such a bad student. At the end of the day, at the wedding, I managed with the choro, so. And then the feeling is like some burden offloaded. It's not, yes, I did it. It's, okay, managed, now gone. On the other hand, what I love doing is, I love working with people. I love inspiring people. I love triggering energy in a positive direction. And I adore kids. But I hate cooking. So I have 4 kids at my house a few weekends ago. and they're all 8-year-olds, full with energy. The house is a jungle, everybody is running around, and at some point they say, "We are hungry." I say, "Oh, cool. Now, do you want a pizza?" "Yes, we want pizza." "Okay, then you're going to make your own pizza." And they'll have, and say, "Now we need the master of the yellow cheese. Now we need a killer of the ham." And I give them responsibilities, and they are very important, all of them. So they start playing with it, and they make their own pizza. Then I have the master of the cleaning and all that stuff, so everybody's cool. And they eat, and they're so proud they did it. At the end of the day, their parents come, and it turns out that one of the kids does not like pizza. After eating it, and then they continue talking about the pizza, and everybody's very happy, and next time we'll have to make muffins. The moral of the story. What I did what I liked. What I did, I outsourced. I delegated the things that I did not like. And it was a cool combination. Everybody was happy. And although that might sound simplified, in the real grown-up business world is the same. If you can manage to work with your strengths, with your desires, with your talents, and combine with people that are complementary to you, for whom it's fun to do the things that you don't want to do, then it is a perfect world, because everybody's happy. The satisfaction is much higher than if you're average in something you put a lot of effort to. And the system as a whole gets much more value than if it was working with your weaknesses. And I think we as people and as society in general work too much on our weaknesses, and we can never be perfect working on them. It's okay to handle them to the level that it's not an obstacle to develop and to work with your talents, but otherwise it's losing time and energy and effort and everything. And how to do it? How to do it? You should know till now what are your strengths, and just build on them. Surround yourself with people with complementary skills, and surround yourself with people that are mentors, supporters, people that like you to succeed, which is something that becomes more and more difficult with time, you see that, but it's very useful. And then explore, travel a lot, read a lot of books, meet a lot of people, talk to many people, hear what other people tell you. That's very important to listen. And just have fun. That's me. I think we were very short in time, late, so quick Q&A.
Yeah, thank you. It was very entertaining, and we have a set of questions that you can answer. Here is the first one. What was the most difficult moment of your path to succeed, and what was the most rewarding one?
Why didn't I have the questions before that? So that I think wise answers. Okay, most difficult. Most difficult was the first time I had to fire somebody. It was the cleaner of the office. But it was the first time, and it took me maybe a week to decide, and then maybe a month to handle all the emotions that I had. It's very difficult. For those of you who be firing people, it's not a fun thing. Most rewarding. Every time I see my team and different teams in the company, not exactly the team that I'm directly working with, achieving something and being happy and being proud with it, it's great. Especially if I was not directly part of it. If one of the things that I value a lot in the company is that we create an environment and then people can give their ideas and work on them and achieve. That's very rewarding. That's something that we're trying also to do with the AUBG Board of Trustees, actually. By the way, AUBG, great university. For those of you who are part of AUBG, who's from AUBG? Because I heard there are a lot of guests too. Okay, AUBG, great place. Spread the word about it, because the more great people like you have here at the university, the better the environment and the more successful you yourself will be. Just find people that are better than you and tell them about AUBG and bring them here. Because one of the greatest investments that you can do is invest in your network while you're a student at the university and before that in school, but it's gone for you. And it might not sound that important at that stage, but you see in 5-10 years it starts paying back a lot.
Thank you for the answer. Let's see if we have some more questions from the audience. Otherwise, after this session, we're going to have a coffee break. Oh,
that was not fair. If there is a coffee break, there are no questions.
I was just announcing it, so you have the chance to meet Elena outside, but there is a question from our audience there.
You said something about discrimination, I think?
If you shout a bit, I'll hear you. It's not working.
You said something about discrimination before, and you said you haven't encountered much discrimination based on your gender, or did you not say that? I did not hear.
No, I have not.
Oh, okay, sorry. So then, great. Then my question is, have you encountered much sexism, or like, has being a woman in any way been in the way of your success? That's basically my question.
That's why I covered kind of that topic, because I'm always asked, what is to be a woman in a man's world? It's one of my favorite. It depends on your personal skills, abilities, talent and positioning. If you think that if you're a woman that's an advantage or disadvantage, I think that's a problem. And it's the same if you think you're a man and that's advantage or disadvantage. It does not help. Just the opposite, it's kind of an obstacle, because you assume things which are not true. I'm very much against any support of women, girls, and all that stuff to do anything. The only difference between men and women is that women are giving birth. And for that part, I believe there should be support, like going back to work and things like that. That's perfectly okay, and that's needed, and that's good. But for all the rest, it's you're professional, and that's it. At least from what I've seen. In some parts of the world, it might be different. To some other nationalities, it might be different. It has never been like that for me. A few weeks ago, I was in Qatar. I did not see any discrimination. I was actually afraid that I would see some. None. Towards me. Maybe they accept me as a man.
Thank you for your answer. There's one question about the pizza. Was the pizza tasty?
They ate it. It was very good. There was a master of the equal size for the pieces of things that we're putting there.
Okay, I cannot see if there are more questions from the audience. Anyone?
Coffee break, you know.
Well, you have the chance to ask Elena personally outside in the coffee break. Thank you again, Elena. This is a present from our club. So guys, you can enjoy the coffee break, find the refreshments outside of the auditorium, and we're going to continue in half an hour.